I just wanted to ask if you could explain the quote, "Born will be free," a little bit.
Okay, the quote I made of that?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that was an interesting experience. That was in '07, because after a couple of years, I stepped back from the rod of power because I was so exhausted from my business and what have you. And then I went through a lot. And then after about 3 years of going through, you might say, a living hell, Paul and Marie Bazaar kept bothering me to come back in and do it again because they knew it was a lot for me, etc. I had seen myself at the end of that year and a half, 2 years, an objective view as like Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, where I was totally exhausted because of all the years I'd been with the corporation, doing my business, etc. And now this came in, and I had so much energy through me because of this reality that I kind of burned myself out. It's kind of like a teenager with their first car. What they do is they just drive really fast, and etc. So, but it was a heck of a lesson for me. And I had started a lot of different things with the group that I had taught for over 20 years in my house. But it just didn't seem to be going anywhere either. I was a little frustrated at the time, too. So, again, I couldn't see the whole picture. And so, as time went by, things started to show up again. And I saw it in the movies, too. I watched the movies that came out, etc. I won't go over those, but it's very, very interesting. I saw myself, and it was shown to me, etc. The different major movies that were coming out relating to myself and this reality. Well, anyhow, so right prior, is about a week before, I usually cross the street at PCH and Huntington Street there in Huntington Beach, where I live, and I always look for the signs on the side of buses. They always have advertisements for something. It was very interesting. This one, it was about a week before August 3rd, 2007, and I had taken the Rod Power August 3rd, 2001, right before 9/11. Very, very interesting. The boys knew when to do it, but anyhow. So it said on the side of the bus, it was a sign, it was the new Bourne movie. It said, "Bourne will be free August 3rd, 2007. And so that's when Bazaar and Paul and all the real guys re-entered the Real Rod of Power, but they wanted me to change it, and it became The New Wave Is, etc. And so that's the idea behind that. It's very interesting that, but it was no coincidence. As I was crossing the street, the bus passed right in front of me, and it was a week before that. And as I looked at the advertisement, I immediately recognized what it meant. And so things started off from there. Realistically, in '07, into the present day here of the new presentation, etc. So that's where, as I continue to write the books, etc., really saw the new nowness of everything, and that what had been, all of a sudden, it just became old and outdated. It was just a lot of pretty words that really meant nothing because it wasn't really referencing and with this reality that is unseen but can only be recognized with your real awareness and not your mind. You cannot figure it out, etc. So it's of a particular, and so this was, you might say, the next step. And so that was the reference to that. It was the beginning of the new nowness. and the new wave is that I saw. I don't make these things up. I look into this reality because I can recognize it, and I simply see what all of a sudden I'll see it. And that's what I refer to, because it's referring to this reality. It's not about me. No, it's just, and it's not about the real guys either. They are just references also. They are just in between. And they know that too. And it's all about this isness. And everything is with the isness, more so than anything in creation. And so getting each person to that point, that's huge. It is huge. And so no matter how long it takes, but you have to decide to work on it. So here's an opportunity. And what I've written and referred to are the best references on the planet, because everybody else is usually referring to tradition, old wisdom and thoughts and ideas. That's not going to do it. You're just going to be stuck in the astral world, because those are emotional tap lines. You're going to get nothing from that, really. You're just going to hang. It's like Christmas tree ornaments. That's all. That's cute, but the end result is nada. Do you recognize the real universes? Really do it? Stand real with this reality? That's what it's about. We've all had our time in this creation, thousands and millions of lifetimes. Here it's wrapping itself up. And as all creations do, all creation bubbles do, they self-destruct. And this is being shown constantly in the experiences of Kevin and others. I like to hear the experiences of others. I prompt others to have experiences, because for the most part, they don't know what they're going to experience. And so there's an open door there. It's those people that think they know something that actually block the experiences, and they don't get them. So it's more like the childlike attitude of the adventure and taking the risk and having fun with it, etc. But this was an opportunity, and I took it, and I'm amazed myself. I'm amazed myself what I see. It's just amazing. Everything is amazing. Creation, what all life is, the real universes, etc. It's all just awesomely amazing. And what makes sense is to see and be and stand real with what is real. And so creation is available to everybody, but it's not real. Doesn't matter your relationships, your loves, your losses, your business, whatever. Yes, do those things. But you know what? It all ends up to nothing. It will all end up to nothing. So I use everything I can to relate to people. Many different references to give them the hint, but the individual really has to decide to do that for themselves. And so that really started it off. That motivated me and inspired me, and the boys knew what I was going through, but they didn't give up. And so it's like I'd given up on myself, you might say, but kept looking for something, and there it was, because I could recognize this reality, but at the same time I needed help to get things going also, so a step at a time. And so here we are from 07 to the present day. A lot has been done, and I'm very grateful for people like Kevin, great witness, and especially Ava, that I met Ava, and that was prompted. We had met each other before, and she saw this in her dreams for many years, and I had met her many years ago before this, and but I didn't recognize her at the time. But then all of a sudden, the time was right for her to show up, and we're into 9 years now, every day doing whatever. And so people are having experiences on the real side with the real awareness and the real guides, and that's all that matters. That's what I focus on. And I suggest that you show up and listen, because there's a lot to learn, and get out of yourself, because there's always so much more, etc. But I know that's a long explanation, but it all entails everything that's taking place in this world. It's a fortunate thing that we're here, even though most of the world doesn't want us here. But there's nothing else like it, and the boys are very real. They, Paul had his time. He was the babysitter. And then when Darwin and Harold came in with the real guides, they blew it. They followed the influence, especially Harold. And And they're still there today. They're in their darkness and they're fooling people, and it's really sad to see, but that's how it is. People make choices. So those people that are here, I'm very fortunate. Every moment I'm very grateful just to know this. Again, it's not about me. I'm just marketing the idea of something for people to relate to this reality, because each one of us is already a real being of light. And it's an isness, but you just have to recognize it, and it's letting go of the fallacies that we've come to know. And we needed those, but at a certain point, we no longer need them. It just gets a lot better, but you have to learn to see it and be it. So this is where we are. That started it. Here we are, young lady. Yes, it's all for you.
Okay, so I had a brief experience. I remember I was in space and just seeing a bunch of stars and nothingness, and then all of a sudden, what appeared right in front of my eyes were 6 giant black holes. They were like the size of a double full moon, and they were all lined up 6 in a row, and they were all rotating clockwise. And the first 4 was black, and then the 5th one was red, and then the 6th one was green, like the Christmas colors. And then, yeah, that was just the experience. So I'm pretty sure that's the black holes that you mentioned that's being created in the atmosphere. So I just wanted to share that short dream. Thanks.
No, that's very, very good. The six that you saw, that's the 6 levels. And what you're seeing is that, the emotional side, the moon, whatever, but there's only so much time. And that's it, because it's all imploding. It's all on automatic. That's it. Nothing's really going to stop it unless there's a huge overall awareness, that is really a toughie. So people think they're gods and saviors and whatever. No, it can't happen. You can't drag someone into anything. You can't take a 5-year-old child and drag him into a car and make him drive. You can't do it. If anything, he'll be afraid and start crying. So it's just very, very real. Now is the time. And so this is what I suggest to everybody that knows anything about this. Share it. Learn more about it. Learn to figure this out. Do the NUUU, etc., because it's very, very real. And you really have to figure out yourself and your personal self and all that identity that you've created, because it's become very, very important to where the personal self is more important than your real awareness, because the real awareness is really not seen. And so it does take something. And, I look back at the days that I was in the corporation for 30 years, and it wasn't really there. There was a lot of, words and ideas and notions and levels and all these things, the upper, down, lower, higher, whatever, higher worlds, whatever. But guess what? That ain't it. It's not it. It's kindergarten stuff. None of these things, all these sound good things, potions, ceremonies, rituals, traditions, whatever. No. Look at the sun shining. None of that is there. So that is a big hint. There's a lot more. So, yeah, you're seeing it, young lady, in your own way. Those are the 6 levels that are imploding. The black holes are a reference to everything that's happening in creation right now.